I know you killed my father.
Oh, a lot to get into today. Welcome back, guys, to my channel for an all-new recap of today's Days of Our Lives, September 9, 2024. So we see Tate and John having a conversation about what happened between him and Holly, right? So he's feeling bad about blurting out the fact that Eric was the one who killed their father, but he really didn't know that Holly didn't know. So he really feels bad. And John is like, listen, this is not your fault. It was bound to get out. And I agree with John. Like, it's Eric and Nicole's fault because they should have told this young lady that, Eric was the one who did it. Had they did that, she wouldn't be feeling how she's feeling. The pain wouldn't be as bad currently than it would be, when it just happened, when she was old enough to understand, not this old, but a little bit younger, right? So anyways, Tate also tells John that Holly's also angry at him for siding with his father, and because her aunt was the one that was injured, and she feels like he should stick by her, but he can't. How can he abandon his dad? Of course it's loyalty, and I agree with Tate, like can't abandon him when he's at his lowest just because Holly doesn't agree with it. It is what it is. So John says, look, you love your father, and it's understandable that you want to rock beside him. So at some point, he's like, besides, Brady doesn't really remember anything. It could be possible that he could walk away free. So speaking of Holly, right? So remember on Friday's episode, Eric, finds her, in the park, and, she's upset, and she's like, I didn't know you were in town. So he's like, yeah, I'm here for Brady. And she's like, oh, I shouldn't be surprised that you're here to support Brady because, you understand exactly what he's going through and what he did. So he's confused at the point, but then she just gives it to him straight and said, listen, I know that you were the one that killed my father. So he is like, I really came, as I was telling your mom, I really came in town, not just to support my brother, but to really tell you the truth. And she's like, really? You and my mom waited 17 years to tell me this? So, he's like, we were trying to protect you. You were really young, and we were a family, and I really didn't want to, ruin the relationship that we had as father and daughter. And she's like, how can my mom really be with you after what you did? And he's like, it took her a while to really forgive him and really be back in a good place with him. And she's like, she can't really understand, how come everybody kept her in the dark. She was about to Google it, but she's just like, her mom just kept her from doing that, by saying, you don't want to know the gory details. The drunk driver died in the accident as well as your dad. So it wouldn't make sense to look it up to traumatize you even further. But knowing now, she now knows who did it, and she's not feeling so well, and she can't forgive him, and he understands that, she hates him for what he did. So she's like, my mom can forgive you, but I really can't. And honestly, you can understand because she's 17, as she said, and the fact that her mom didn't really tell her the truth, or Eric, none of them, and they just pretend to be this one happy family and all of that, that's not right. But anyways, Justin told Brady that EJ decided to drop the charges and he's free to go on Friday's episode. So Brady's like, I can't believe this, how this happened. So he's like, listen, there's nothing to really keep you here. There's no proper evidence. You are a free man. And he's like, I really don't want to be free. I thought you would consult with me as my lawyer and all that. And he's like, listen, I'm a lawyer, and I'm going to do what's best for you to get you the best deal or to get you out, and this is where it's at. So he's like, how is Xander and Sarah gonna take this? He's rocked with guilt. He doesn't want to really go out free and knowing that, he didn't pay for what he did, and that's that. So we go back to Maggie and Xander, right? On Friday's episode, because he did inform Maggie that, Sarah was trying to remember something, but she couldn't make out who was behind the wheel. And they're just hoping that she can remember at some point so that they can put this case to some closure, right? So they did talk about his relationship with his mom and how it's getting better, and she's like, listen, I'm proud of your mom for overcoming her challenges and being the woman that she is today, because if anybody can understand that, I can, because I've been there. So it's like, yeah, I'm really happy that the relationship is going. If only you guys knew who Fiona or what she's up to. So Xander also tells, Maggie that he's grateful for her and she's an awesome mom, awesome person in general. So he said he was going to look on the soup that he was about to bring up to Sarah. So Justin comes in and he's like, look at my traitorous cousin, I am ready to attend Brady's arraignment tomorrow. He's like, there's no arraignment. So Maggie's like, has it been postponed? So he's like, no, it hasn't been. Brady's a free man. So Xander has the most cross face ever. He's like, how can this happen? So he's like, EJ, I convinced EJ to drop the charges because there was nothing really to hold him on. So Xander is furious, and he just, storms out of there, right? So we see Brady outside the pub and he's still, feeling guilty about actually being free of all charges. Ava comes over and she's like, I didn't even expect you to be out. I expected you to be in jail, as bad as it sounds. So he's like, I guess, EJ, didn't see any reason for me to be there and just let me go. So I just feel like I just shouldn't be free at all. I'm just feeling so guilty about what happened. And Ava is just she's sympathetic to him. She's like, I wish I was there to help you on that night, just stop you from doing a lot of drinking. I wish I checked up on you. And he's like, listen, you are not remotely to blame at all, right? I put this on myself. I kept drinking and throwing drinks back even after you left. And she's like, I did try to check in on you at some point, but you were with a lady friend and I didn't want to impose. So I'm saying, hey, maybe she's the one that's going to drive you home. So he's like, for the record, do not tell anybody about me and that lady friend. That lady friend is Xander's mom, and given everything that's happened, Xander does not need to know that me and his mom had relations and all that. It wasn't that serious, but I really don't want it to be out. So she's like, listen, I won't tell anybody at all, but if you need anybody, just you know where to find me, right? So he went home after that. All right, so we go back to Friday's episode where we see Fiona look like she about to commit murder or suffocation, whatever it is, with that pillow, because Sarah is fast asleep and she contemplated many times to put the pillow over Sarah's face. She go she did it about 3 times, I believe, trying to put that pillow, because she just doesn't want Sarah to remember what happened on the night of that accident. She want to save her own butt, but Xander interrupted her, right? So fortunate for her, right, he didn't see what was happening, so she was able to hold back the pillow. So he's there up there with Soup, and Sarah hears all the commotion. I don't know how Sarah didn't hear Fiona talking about the fact that she was the one who did it and she didn't want Sarah to remember. I don't know how she never feel any, but I guess she can't feel any movement. But can she feel movement up the top? I guess she's, doesn't have any sensation there either. But anyways, Xander comes in and Xander offers her the soup and everything, and he did tell her and Fiona that, Brady got off on the charges, and Sarah's surprised that this happened, like, how could this happen? So he's like, apparently they don't have much to convict him, so that's why it's very important for you to try to remember that memory that you had so that we can ID Brady and lock him up for good. So Fiona is like, do they have anybody else in there? And he's like, no. So she's like, I don't understand how he didn't get locked up, because he confessed to it and all that. But anyways, she's like, Sarah says she can't remember anything. She tried, but she can't remember. So he's like, why don't we consult with Marlena? She is an expert in what she does with hypnosis, and she's helped many clients, So Sarah is like, we should try her out, maybe she can help me jog the memory. So Fiona's like, doesn't she have a problem with you because you shot her stepson or something like that. So he's like, how did you know? So of course she heard it from Brady, but she then said, oh, I did some research and all that. And I'm saying, Xander, that's public news, so probably she could have read it, but we all know she got it from Brady. So anyways, He said that, listen, I've made amends with that and I'm just trying to be a better man for Sarah and I really want justice for her. So, Fiona's like, listen, maybe hypnosis won't be the thing and, you should be focusing on the physical recovery. She just don't want it to happen. So, Sarah's like, your mom is right. I need to focus on that and all that, right? So, Fiona takes the soup away, I guess, to warm it up or something. And I'm like, oh, dear God, don't tell me she's going to poison Sarah now. So we go back to Justin and Maggie, right? So Justin's like, should I really close the door or sleep with one eye open? So Maggie said, I think you need to just close the door. You don't know how Xander is going to feel. Maybe he'll calm down, but you just to be safe. So she's like, I am glad that the charges against Brady are dropped because I'm still fond of Brady and I really don't think he did it. I just can't put my mind towards it. But, he's like, listen, the only way this can be reopened is if we get any witnesses. The car wasn't there and we don't have any key witnesses, no photographic evidence. So she's like, except for Sarah, and she tells Justin that Sarah did actually remember something but she couldn't make out the driver. So if she could have do that though, there'd be more closure to the case and all that, right? It could be properly solved, I should say. So anyways, she's just upset that the family is just messed up right now, going through a hard time. And she looked to the picture of Victor and she's like, if only you were here to kind of fix things. I know, wherever you are, you're thinking it's a lot going on right now, right? So Holly ended up leaving and she's in tears, understandably. And Eric sits down and he has a flashback of him and Sarah because they used to be an item back in the day, and he was telling Sarah how he at some point when Holly knows the truth, she's gonna really hate me, right? So she's like, maybe she won't. You'll understand that it was an accident and all that. And I'm saying, Sarah, Holly's a niece and all that, and Danny was a brother, but anyways, whatever. Eric calls Nicole, it's at a different time zone and he's like, sorry to wake you up, but I just want to fill it in on what happened, right? So I guess he's gonna tell her that he told Holly the truth and how it went. So Holly ended up going to the mansion and she's, visibly upset, and Maggie's like, what happened? So she's like, I find out who was the one who killed my father. So Maggie's like, oh dear God, because they've been trying to shield that secret from her for years. So now that she found out, Maggie's just there to comfort her. So Tate is still concerned about whether or not he should text Holly, check in on her if she's going to answer. So John was like, go ahead and text her, at least you know that you're thinking about her. So he did. He's like, there's no response yet. So John said, just give her some time. She will come back around to it when she's ready, of course. So as they're talking, Brady comes in and, Tate is shocked, to see him there. And, he's like, yeah, EJ dropped the charges. There was nothing to hold me, so I'm here. So they're just overjoyed to have him back at home, right? So there was a part where Justin comes into the pub asking for, a burger and stuff. And, Ava saying the restaurant's closed, but I was about to make me one so I can make you an extra one. So it's like, thank you, that's really kind of you. So she's like, no problem, it's really kind of you that you really helped out one of your clients today. And Justin's like, yeah, let's hope the rest of the family feels that way. So we go back to Xander and Sarah because remember Fiona took the soup to warm it up or poison it, whatever she's doing. So he's like, Sarah's like, what? Let's I have the doctor appointment tomorrow. Let's go see Marlene as well to see if I can remember what happened on that night. So Fiona is overhearing what they're saying, and Fiona's like, I can't allow this to happen, Sarah, not by a long shot, right? So she's gonna be up to something. I don't know if she's gonna poison that soup. I don't know what she's up to, but she seems capable of anything at this point. So that is it, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you tomorrow for an all new Days of Our Lives recap. Bye.